Discovered 7 heartwarming love stories that transformed lives in unexpected ways. In the sleepy town of Maplewood, where sun rays barely kissed the rooftops, Emma rose each day just before dawn. As a 32-year-old single mother, her resolve illuminated the shadows of her worn-down kitchen. She would brush her tangled hair, slip on her faded sneakers, and whisper today is a new day beneath her breath, preparing her for another shift at Molly's diner. The sounds of sizzling bacon and clinking coffee cups were her everyday lullabies, harmonizing with her dreams of a better life for Jake, her 8-year-old son who deserved the moon and stars. One morning as Emma poured coffee for a table of regulars, her heart swelled with fierce hope. There was Dave, the war veteran, sitting alone, an echo of lost battles painted across his face. Next to him, Ruth, her elderly neighbor, shared stories of a farm she desperately fought to keep afloat, a promise to her late husband looming large. And then there was Mr. Lee, the schoolteacher, his voice steady and firm as he pushed for social justice in town. Each connection sparked in Emma's heart, forging a makeshift family amid the challenges of Maplewood life. But then the storm clouds gathered. An economic crisis slammed into their insulated world, strangling local businesses and snuffing out the flickering embers of community spirit. The familiar din of the diner became a murmur of unease. Emma could feel the weight of judgment in the air as glances from patrons reflected worry. Was she just another struggling single mom? Her hands trembled slightly as she set down plates, but her spirit remained unbroken. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The crisis turned the diner into a battleground of allies and foes, misunderstanding lurking like a crouched predator. As days passed, Emma banded together the townspeople, pushing for a community initiative to uplift every soul. Each failure felt like a stab to her heart. Each small victory ignited flickers of hope. But the pulse of the diner quickened as a shocking revelation gnawed at her conscience. One of her friends hid ambitions that could shatter their unity. The moment hung in the balance like precarious glass, each clink of cutlery around them echoing with betrayal. Emma's resolve solidified, her internal conflict rumbling deep within as she sought the courage to navigate this emotional labyrinth. Through the struggle, Jake's eyes remained wide with innocence, asking, "Mom, are we okay?" And right then, at that pivotal moment, Emma knew she needed to protect not just her dreams but the rhythm of the community that had once lifted her. As the clock ticked steadily toward a turning point, the weight of love and loyalty hung between them. Would Emma dance bravely into an uncertain future for her son and their fragile community? Or would despair snatch away the hope she had clawed so hard to build? The diner buzzed quietly, waiting for the answer as the stories intertwined, a tapestry of heart, struggle, and the unwavering strength of an American dream. The next chapter awaited, wrapped in the breath of possibility. The next morning dawned gray, the kind of day that felt heavy in the chest. Emma stood at the diner's window, watching raindrops race down the glass, their paths twisting like her thoughts. Outside, the streets of Maplewood needed a hero, and deep down, she dared to hope that maybe, just maybe, that hero could be her. As she settled into her shift, a nervous energy crackled in the air. The diner was quieter than usual. Chairs pushed back and forth, conversations hushed. Dave sat in his usual spot, coffee in hand but distant, lost in his memories. Ruth shuffled in late, clutching her knitted shawl tightly against her frail shoulders, her eyes sunken with worry. And Mr. Lee, usually so passionate about his causes, looked weary. "Hey Emma," Dave said, his voice gravelly. "You think we can turn things around?" She turned to him, her heart racing. "I don't know, but together we can try." With each passing hour, doubts crawled like shadows behind her. Could they truly unite the town? Or was she clinging to a dream that was destined to crumble? During the lunch rush, a group of young men came in, laughter booming, the diner brightening momentarily. But then they began to disrespect the staff, tossing around crass comments. The bridge of hope between Emma and her customers felt suddenly frail. Fury surged inside Emma. "Hey! That's not how we treat each other here," she snapped, surprising herself. The laughter faded, met with stunned silence. The men exchanged guilty glances before retreating to an empty booth, their bravado dropping like leaves in winter. In that moment Emma felt the weight shift. The tension, the judgment, began to evaporate, replaced by an unspoken understanding among those who truly mattered. It was a simple act, but it reignited something bright and clear in her heart, a recognition that bravery sometimes looked like standing up for kindness. Later, with a steaming cup of chamomile, Emma gathered her regulars. "Listen," she began, glancing at each familiar face, "we're facing tough times. And they're only going to get tougher if we don't come together." Ruth nodded, her frail voice quivering. "I've been trying to save my farm alone. Maybe we could hold a fundraiser. Get the town to rally behind us?" Dave's eyes sparkled with recognition. "A community fair. We can showcase our strengths, local artworks, baked goods, and maybe a storytelling circle." Eager murmurs of agreement filled the diner, and Emma's heart surged with hope. Each idea tossed back and forth felt like bricks being laid for a better tomorrow. And for the first time, the weight of despair lightened, but uncertainty still clung like the rain on the window. Emma's gaze shifted frequently towards the corner table where one of her friends lingered, a hand clenched tightly around a phone. Was that ambition she spotted hiding behind his eyes? The atmosphere felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. "Let us meet tomorrow to plan," she said, the resolve in her voice steady. As they cleared the tables and washed the last dishes, the weight of possibility rested upon them. Emma saw smiles, sparkles of connection, stories intertwining under that tiny diner's roof. That evening back home, Jake flopped onto the couch beside her, eyes bright. "Isn't it gonna be okay, Mom? Are we really trying to help everyone?" His question hung in the air, innocent but demanding. Emma pulled him into her embrace, feeling the warmth of his spirit seep into her. "Yes, sweetheart, we're going to do our best." She squeezed him tight, but the uncertainty gnawed at her heart, a flickering doubt that wouldn't easily be silenced. Did she truly have what it takes to lead her community against the tide? Especially when the people she trusted could be anyone's unlikely betrayal away from derailing everything. As the rain poured outside, wrapping Maplewood in gray, Emma knew this battle for their town's soul had only just begun. The next day they would face the unfolding heroics and heartaches together. But would they all stand resolute? Or was a storm on the horizon waiting to tear them apart? The next morning brought a brisk wind that swept away the rain, leaving the streets of Maplewood damp but hopeful. Emma stood at the entrance of the diner, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. She inhaled deeply, trying to breathe in the energy of a new day. Today was the day they would begin to take action. As she prepared for the day, her thoughts raced with anticipation. Would everyone show up to plan for the community fair? Would the ideas sparked in the diner last night become something tangible? The diner's bell jingled, and her regulars began filing in, each one bringing a hint of that excitement with them. Dave was the first to arrive, his expression noticeably brighter. "Morning, Emma. Ready to get started?" "Absolutely," she replied, a smile spreading across her face. As others arrived, the corners of the diner began to fill with energy. Ruth, clutching her notebook, jotted down ideas as quickly as they flicked through the air. Mr. Lee's passion ignited again as he spoke about gathering local artists. It felt as if the weight of the world lightened just a little inside those walls, but even amidst the enthusiasm, Emma's gaze kept drifting to the corner table where her friend, Lucas, sat. The frustration in his face hinted at something deeper. What was it? If he had plans of his own, she needed to know. "Lucas," she called, her voice slicing through the chatter. He looked up, met her gaze and nodded, but still held the phone tightly in his hand, as if it were a lifeline. "Got a sec?" Emma asked, gesturing him to join. She wanted to understand the storm brewing behind those familiar eyes. When he settled beside her, she leaned in. "What's going on with you? You look like you've seen a ghost." Lucas hesitated, the weight of unspoken words filling the space between them. "I've been thinking. There's more to saving this town than a fundraiser," he finally said, the words falling like bricks between them. "I've been talking to a few investors. We might be able to bring in some real resources." Emma's heart started racing. "Resources? What kind of resources?" He hesitated again, glancing around as if to gauge the interest of others. "I mean, Maplewood needs more than just community spirit. We need jobs, and I know people." If we pull this off right, we could attract development that ensures our future. Her mind whirred with possibilities. Could this be the break they needed? The lifeblood that restored not just the diner, but the entire town? But there was a tightness in her chest, the message woven with drama and uncertainty. What if it misfired? Lucas, that's a big step. What about the community fair? Isn't that our focus right now? It is. But it has to be part of a bigger plan. We can't let pride hold us back. This could be our chance. His fervent expression startled her, filled with a mix of hope and desperation. Emma looked at him, heart racing. She knew she had to weigh her responsibility to her town against the allure of quick solutions. The thought lingered like that heavy gray morning cloud. What if we let the others know? Emma prompted, feeling a tug of urgency surging within her. They deserve to hear everything. Okay, he said, resolve brightening his eyes. Let us bring it up during the meeting. As they walked back, the chatter in the diner grew louder. Each person sparkled with excitement, hope brimming over. But now, alongside that hope, Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What would happen if Lucas's path intertwined with theirs? Would it lead to healing or perhaps heartache? The community fair was a chance for unity, but this new direction could shift the tide in ways she didn't fully understand. Could they weave hope and ambition together? As the group gathered to share ideas, Emma took a deep breath, ready to address the gathering crowd. She felt both exhilaration and fear coursing through her. The air crackled with possibility, thick as the clouds they had banished. But somewhere deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that today's decisions would set a course far beyond their plans for just a fair. Would they be able to find common ground amid contrasting dreams, or was there a hidden fracture in their midst? Facing them, her heart pounded. The moment of truth was upon her. Emma knew what came next would define everything. Emma stood at the head of the long wooden table, her heart racing as she glanced around at the faces staring back at her. Each expression was a blend of curiosity and eagerness, but a flicker of uncertainty danced in their eyes, mirroring her own internal struggle. She cleared her throat, trying to steady herself, focusing on the warmth radiating from the grilled cheese sandwiches and the scent of freshly brewed coffee wafting through the diner. Thank you all for coming, she began, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. We have an exciting opportunity to discuss today, something that could change everything for Maplewood. Ruth looked up from her notebook, eyes wide. What do you mean? Emma exchanged a quick glance with Lucas, who offered a small nod of encouragement. It was now or never. Lucas has been speaking with some investors, potential partners, who could help bring new jobs and resources to our town. Murmurs rippled through the group. Dave leaned forward, brows knit. Investors? Like real money? Exactly, Lucas chimed in, his tone serious. But we need to be smart about this. We can't just think about the community fair, we have to think about our future. Stunned silence followed. Emma's heart sank as she watched their excitement begin to wane, replaced by a hesitant wariness. The thought of change frightened some, and she gripped the edge of the table, trying to rally their spirits. I know this feels big, but isn't it worth considering? We've talked about struggling for so long. This could be the hope we've been waiting for. Mr. Lee cleared his throat, eyes shining with uncharacteristic fervor. I've been here longer than most, and I've seen this town rise and fall. If there are people out there willing to invest, we have to at least listen. Emma felt a flicker of hope ignite. They weren't fully on board yet, but they had shifted from doubt to tentative curiosity. What about the fair? Ruth asked, her brow furrowing. We've put a lot of effort into it. Won't we be losing focus? Lucas stepped in, enthusiasm spilling over as he spoke. Not at all. The fair can still be a part of our revitalization strategy. It'll bring everyone together and show potential investors that we care. We can attract them while reinforcing our community spirit. Nods began to bounce around the table, some laughter breaking out, easing the tension. Emma leaned back slightly, both relieved and thrilled as she saw their hesitation melt away. Could this work? Okay, let us do it, Dave exclaimed, enthusiasm contagious. We set up a meeting with those investors and we can brainstorm ideas after the fair. Applause erupted softly, filling the diner with renewed energy. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with warmth at this jab of unity. But as the excitement enveloped her, A new worry crept into her thoughts. What if the investors had different plans than what they envisioned for Maplewood? Lucas met her gaze, the fire within him steady as a beacon. Emma felt reassured. Yet the unease pulsed faintly beneath the surface. Was this really the answer to their struggles, or a solution with strings attached? She took a deep breath as they dove into planning. Ideas flowed like coffee, swelling the spirit of the diner. But deep down, Emma clung tightly to her original mission to keep Maplewood alive as it was, not just to keep it afloat. As the meeting came to an end, Emma caught Lucas's eye, and they shared a moment of silent understanding. They were standing at the precipice of something monumental, together. But what would they find on the other side? A few plans had been laid, but the real danger loomed in the unknown that lay ahead. Would they be able to protect their town's heart while inviting in the very change they sought? The bell jingled as patrons shuffled out, laughter echoing in the distance. Emma stood in the doorway, her heart racing with mixed emotions, ready to face their fate. Each decision they made could lead to the lifeline they desperately needed or change Maplewood forever. Would they succeed in bringing new hope, or would their dreams shatter under the weight of reality? The next few days felt like a whirlwind. Meetings were scheduled, plans drafted, and the buzz around town grew louder as anticipation mounted for the upcoming community fair. Emma could hardly keep up with the flurry of activity, but the energy was contagious, and a sense of purpose lit the air. In the afternoons, Emma found solace at the cafe, hunched over her laptop, typing furiously. She juggled fair details while skimming over presentations Lucas had put together. The investors would be arriving soon, and she wanted everyone to be ready. Each click of the keyboard felt like she was hammering nails into the foundation of their hopes for Maplewood. Emma noticed Lucas across the cafe, his brow furrowed as he talked to Ruth. She could see excitement mixed with anxiety playing on their faces. It struck her how much was at stake, not just for the town, but for the relationships they had built over the years. Later that week, as Emma walked back home from the cafe, a light rain began to fall, forming glistening puddles on the sidewalk. She loved this weather, it felt revivifying, much like the changes swirling around her. As she reached her doorstep, a sudden thought hit her like a splash of cold water. What if the investors weren't really interested in investing in Maplewood, but merely seeing it as a stepping stone for their own gain? Shaking her head, she dismissed the worry. This was about the spirit of community, the warmth of connections shared. When had she started letting fear creep into her thoughts? The day of the fair arrived like a breath of fresh air. The sun peeked out from behind clouds, casting a golden glow across town, beckoning everyone outdoors. Emma donned a colorful apron adorned with cheerful patterns and hung the official Maplewood Fair banner, her heart fluttering with anticipation. "Look at this place," Lucas exclaimed, whipping his arm around to indicate the vibrant decorations and cheerful chatter of townsfolk. "It's amazing." Ruth was nearby, bustling around with a clipboard. "This fair is packed. We have to impress those investors and showcase what makes Maplewood special." As people began to gather, each face brought a rush of warmth that filled Emma with hope. They were united. They were trying. But then she noticed something in the corner of her eye. A group stood a bit apart. They were dressed in crisp suits, their expressions austere, as if they were analyzing the scene rather than feeling it. Emma's stomach dropped. These were the investors they'd been waiting for, and doubt began to creep in once more. "Hey Emma." Lucas's voice cut through her worries. "Time for the welcome speech." Heart pounding, Emma took a step toward the microphone. Every eye settled on her. "Welcome everyone," she started, her voice tentative but steady, igniting murmurs of support from familiar faces. "Today is about celebrating who we are, and where we hope to go together. Maplewood is more than just a location. It's family, it's community, and it's hope." Her words flowed freely now, bolstered by the spirit palpable in the air. Each shared smile and nod fueled her fire. The investor seemed distant, but a light stirred in her heart, knowing her town would come together regardless of what happened that day. And as Emma concluded her speech, she noticed the investors shifting, intrigue flipping across their stony faces. Maybe there was a chance to harness that spark for something greater. Just then Lucas squeezed her hand, grounding her. He understood the stakes too, the weight of their vision. As the fair kicked off in a flurry of laughter and chatter, Emma caught sight of Dave mingling with some of the investors, his boisterous laughter cutting through the tensions. She watched closely, hope fluttering again, but this time with a slight edge of anxiety. Were they really engaging? But her moment of joy was abruptly interrupted as a loud crash rang out from the fairgrounds. Emma felt her heart drop. What had just happened? With uncertainty brewing in her chest, she dashed towards the commotion, ready to face whatever awaited her. She knew that each moment could unravel all they had worked for. But more than ever, she felt that nothing worth fighting for should go quietly. Would they be able to keep their dreams alive amid chaos? Only time would tell. Emma pushed through the crowd, her heart racing as she reached the source of the noise. People murmured in shock, some gasping, while others rushed to see what had happened. She ducked under a colorful banner, her mind racing with dread. At the center of the commotion, a booth teetered precariously on its legs, toppled over by an exuberant child chasing after a balloon. Cans of homemade jams and jellies rolled about like stray marbles, their vibrant colors splattering against the muddy ground. Panic surged through Emma, but she quickly noticed that the child was unhurt, giggling as adults gathered around to help straighten the display. "Is everyone okay?" Emma called out, trying to calm the swelling tide of anxiety. A hand shot up amid the chaos. "I think I sprained my ankle," a woman exclaimed, grimacing as she sat on the ground, cradling her leg. A few people rushed to her side while others hurried to the booth, picking up scattered inventory. Emma felt uncertainty hang in the air like thick fog. Could this one incident set off a chain reaction that would derail their fair? She squeezed her eyes shut briefly, willing a wave of bravery, determination, and community spirit to wash over her. "Let us fix this, folks," she shouted, regaining her composure. "Can I get some help over here?" She caught Lucas's eye, and he was there in an instant, followed closely by Ruth and a few other volunteers. They began righting the booth as Emma directed the cleanup, her voice carrying over the din. For every can of jam gathered, Emma felt her fear of failure evaporate just a little more. Together, they were stronger. As the crowd stabilized, Emma caught sight of the investors looking on, their expressions harder to read than ever. Would they see this chaos as disorganization, or would they understand the resilience displayed here in Maplewood? The tension was palpable, and every second felt crucial. Once the booth was back in order, Emma turned to the woman nursing her ankle. "Can someone help her to the medical tent?" "On it." Lucas guided a couple of attendees over to assist. Emma took a deep breath, focusing on the moment instead of the looming pressure. "Everyone, let us get back to enjoying the fair. We've got games, food, and music waiting for you." Slowly, the crowd began to shift back into laughter and chatter. A live band started playing, filling the air with cheerful melodies that loosened the remaining tension. Emma felt a flicker of warmth race through her. Just then, a familiar voice cut through the crowd. "Emma!" It was Dave, waving her over with excitement. She hurried to him, her heart lightening. "They loved your speech. Seriously, they're impressed." He grinned, nodding toward the investors who now appeared more engaged, chatting among themselves. "Really?" Hope ignited within her, twisting in a beautiful dance with anxiety. "Definitely." They were discussing the unique community spirit here. "I think we have a shot, but we need to keep showing them what we have." Emma felt a deep sense of purpose. This wasn't just about the investment anymore. This was about the heart of Maplewood, awakening the conviction that had united them all. As she looked around at the smiling faces, the joyous laughter, and even those driven by a shared purpose to clean up a mess, something shifted within Emma. She realized that they had already won by coming together. Whether the investments followed or not, the spirit of Maplewood was ignited like never before. But just as she thought they were back on solid ground, a figure stepped forward from the crowd, a familiar face from the past, one that could change everything. "Emma?" The voice was laced with a hint of uncertainty. "We need to talk." Her heart quickened. What could this person possibly want now? Was it good news or bad? The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, and everything she had fought for felt like it was poised on the edge of a knife. Emma took a breath, wondering what would happen next. Emma's breath caught in her throat as she turned to face the person who had stepped from the crowd. It was Jenna, her former best friend, the one who had vanished from her life just as the wounds of high school had begun to heal. Memories flooded back, laughter, secrets, and the lies that had driven them apart. She had expected never to see Jenna again. Yet here they stood, tension crackling in the air between them. "Jenna, Emma finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "What are you doing here?" "I heard about the fair," Jenna said, her eyes darting over the scene, the vibrant booths, the cheerful families. "I thought maybe it would be nice to stop by." Emma clenched her fists, unsure how to feel. The fair had started as a symbol of community for her, a dream realized, and now Jenna was standing there, threatening to unravel it all. But curiosity sparked in her heart. "Are you okay? It's been so long." "Yeah," Jenna replied, her voice shaky. "I've been through a lot. Can we talk somewhere private?" Emma hesitated. The chaos of the fair danced around them, laughter ringing out with each swing of the carnival games. But could she really walk away from everything now? Just when the momentum had begun to build. "What do you want to talk about?" Emma asked, concern washing over her. Jenna took a deep breath, her expression shifting from nervousness to determination. "It's about why I left and what happened after." Emma's heart raced. The unanswered questions from their past swirled around her, colliding like the vibrant cans of jam that had earlier spilled onto the ground. Did she have room for this conversation right now? The investors were still watching, their mounting interest hinted at by furtive glances. Yet she felt drawn to uncover whatever Jenna had to say. "Let us find somewhere quieter," Emma finally said, motioning for Jenna to follow. They walked past the booths and families, the joyous tunes fading into the background. With each step away from the lively fair, Emma sensed a magnetic pull towards the past, one that tugged at her memories and emotions. They reached a small clearing by the edge of the fairgrounds, distant from the laughter, where the whispers of the wind filled the silence. Emma turned to Jenna, heart pounding with anticipation and trepidation. "Now tell me." Jenna hesitated, eyes glistening, the weight of her words heavy between them. "I never meant to hurt you. I wanted to explain why I couldn't stay, why I needed to leave Maplewood." A surge of emotions rocked Emma, the confusion, resentment, but also a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, they could find a way to bridge the years that separated them. "Go on," Emma urged, her voice steady. "It was my family. Things were hard, really hard. I didn't know how to ask for help," Jenna began, her voice trembling. "And then after I left, everything changed. I thought I had to cut ties with everyone, including you. But it's like it's been eating at me for so long." Emma's heart softened. Jenna was opening up, laying bare the hurt that had kept them apart. Was it too late to reconcile the friendship that once meant so much? "I thought you didn't care," Emma exclaimed, the anguish that had simmered for years bubbling to the surface. "You just left without a word. I thought you wanted nothing to do with me." "I thought I was protecting you," Jenna replied, tears brimming in her eyes. "But I see now that running away didn't fix anything." The longing for understanding hung in the air between them. Emma's instincts told her to protect her heart, but a deeper part ached for connection, for closure. Maybe this was a moment to redefine their story. Just as Emma was about to speak, laughter erupted in the distance, small children squealing in delight as they chased after a clown. The noise pulled her back to the present, reminding her of the commitment she had made to Maplewood, to her community. They needed her, and the fair was not over yet. "Look, I want to hear everything, but I also need to be there for the fair," Emma said, taking a step back, torn between the past and the present. "Can we meet afterward?" "Of course," Jenna replied, hope flickering in her eyes. Emma turned away, glancing back towards the bustling fair. Her heart was in turmoil. The looming question of whether their friendship could be salvaged, and whether it mattered alongside the community she was fighting for, felt weighty with each step back toward the noise and celebration. She wondered if they had truly come together just to part again. But then a thought struck her. Did she really want to lose her chance for reconciliation this time? Emma glanced over her shoulder, a decision brewing in her heart. The path ahead felt uncertain, but one thing was clear. Both the fair and her past were still waiting to be addressed. What could that past hold for her now, and how would it shape the future she was fighting for? Emma stepped back into the fair, a whirlwind of laughter and color, but her mind was elsewhere. Her heart struggled to beat past the weight of Jenna's revelations. The lights of the Ferris wheel twinkled, a kaleidoscope of joy, yet the shadows of their past loomed large. Could she really push everything aside and return to the smiles? She forced herself to focus on the fair, on her community where families gathered. She plastered on a smile, greeting friends and patrons, but her thoughts were filled with Jenna. Was she still the girl Emma knew? Or had years of absence turned her into someone unrecognizable? As she inspected the booths, Emma felt a tug at her heart every time laughter rang out. She knew that thrill of joy, the kind that could weave stories of love and friendship. Teenagers and children, carefree and enjoying the day, they had no idea how fragile moments of connection could be. "Hey Emma." A voice cut through her thoughts. It was Mia, one of the volunteers. "Are you good? You seem a bit spaced out." "Yeah, just..." Emma trailed off, her mind drifting back to Jenna. "Checking everything. Your hard work is paying off. This fair is amazing." Mia clapped her hands together, her eyes sparkling. "I'll catch up with more volunteers to keep the momentum going." Emma managed a nod, trying to push through her worries. She wanted so much for Maplewood, for this event to be a triumph. At the same time, she wondered if piecing together her friendship with Jenna could equally be a victory. Later, as the sun dipped lower and painted the sky crimson, Emma stood near the stage watching performances. A local musician strummed a guitar, filling the fairground with a soothing melody. She felt lighter, as if the music was washing over her. A part of her hoped it would drown out the looming conversation waiting for her with Jenna. Her phone buzzed. A message from Jenna. "Are you still okay to meet?" The doubt pooled in Emma's stomach. Would she be able to handle the weight of the past right now? As the final act celebrated with applause, she glanced around at the faces filled with joy and connection. They were sharing life, moments, and love, all the things Emma longed for. She had fought for this, for her place in Maplewood, yet her old ties called her back too. "Emma." Mia's voice broke her reverie, pulling her back to the present. "We're going to wrap things up. You ready?" "Yeah." "Let us do this," Emma responded, trying to shake off her apprehension. After the fair's final moments faded with cozy goodbyes and laughter, Emma sensed a flutter of nerves in her chest. She had promised Jenna they would meet, but could she really bear it? The warmth of camaraderie clung to her, but guilt and fear loomed as well. With tonight's memories still glittering in her mind, she stepped away from the remaining crowds and into the night. The breeze felt cool against her skin, a reminder of the warmth evaporating from her past. As she approached the clearing where they had spoken earlier, she saw Jenna standing there, an anxious silhouette against the darkening sky. "Emma," Jenna said, her voice wavering slightly. "Hey," Emma said, feeling the weight of the moment gripping her. The spaces between them felt vast, loaded with 10 years of silence. Here they were again, and each pulse of Emma's heart urged her to forgive, to understand. She took a deep breath, hoping against hope that this was right. But as Jenna drew closer, her expression was filled with ghosts of the past, memories and choices etched across her face. "I have something else to share." Emma's mouth went dry. What could Jenna reveal now? Was the past really so easily opened? "Something I should have told you before." Emma braced herself, realizing this could change everything. Would the truth serve as a bridge or a wall? Emma's heart raced, pounding in her chest like a drum. The world around her faded into a blur, the Ferris wheel's lights twinkling in the distance, lost to the gravity of the moment. Jenna stood there, uncertainty and fragility in her gaze. "What do you mean?" Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Her mind danced with possibilities, each one evoking a different fear. Jenna took a tentative step forward, her hands trembling slightly. "It's about the reasons I left. Why I didn't come back sooner." Emma swallowed hard. I'm listening." She felt an overwhelming urge to shield her heart, but also a desperate curiosity to know what lay beneath the surface. "I didn't just disappear, Emma." Jenna's voice cracked, as if the weight of her confession was almost too much to bear. "There were things going on at home. Things I didn't know how to tell you. I was ashamed." Emma found herself shaking her head, struggling to understand. "Ashamed? Why? Was I not worth the truth?" "No." Jenna's eyes widened, and her voice echoed in the stillness. "You were everything. But I didn't want you to see me as a victim. I thought I could handle it, that I could deal with it all on my own." A gust of wind rustled the leaves around them, making the silence feel even heavier. Emma felt a twinge of empathy, mixed with frustration. "But you left. You cut me off when I needed you the most. I felt like I'd lost a part of myself." "I know," Jenna replied, fresh tears shimmering in her eyes. "I'm sorry. Leaving was my way of trying to protect you from my mess, but I see now how selfish it was." Emma's heart softened at Jenna's words. The years of hurt were stitched with threads of misunderstanding. And now? She asked, her voice steadier than she felt. What do you want? To explain? To apologize? I want to be honest, Jenna said, stepping closer again. Vulnerability etched all over her face. I want an opportunity to try to rebuild. To fix this if you'll let me. Emma's breath caught. The raw honesty offered a flicker of hope, yet doubts crept back. Could they really reconcile after all this time? What if it's too late? What if I can't forget? It's not about forgetting, Jenna replied firmly. It's about facing what happened and where we go from here. The air between them shifted. Emma stood still, torn between protective walls and the longing for connection. She remembered laughter shared, secrets exchanged, the unbreakable bond of friendship that had once been so vibrant. I really want to understand, but it's hard. Start from the beginning, Jenna encouraged gently. Just ask me anything. I owe you that. The revelation unfolded like a flower, allowing light back into a shadowed past. Emma wanted answers, but how much of the truth could her heart take? All right, she finally said, her voice stronger now. Why did you never reach out? We had all those years. As Jenna opened her mouth to respond, a rush of voices interrupted them from the fairground behind them, a gathering of unexpected laughter and gaiety. The world they had both tried to shut out rushed back in, vibrant and alive. Emma! Mia's cheer cut through the heaviness. We're ready to roll out. You coming? Jenna's eyes widened, caught between the pull of the fair and the weight of her past. Should we go back? She asked, fear flickering in her gaze. Emma hesitated, the choice hanging between them. I need a moment, just give me a second. Jenna nodded, trusting but apprehensive. Emma turned away, looking out into the distance where soft music floated on the breeze. She felt torn, knowing that one choice could pivot toward healing or further divide. But something within her stirred, perhaps facing this together, amid the laughter and joy, could serve as a fresh start. Would she confront her past as she stepped back into the light? Or had the shadows formed too tight a grip around them both? As she stood there, feeling Jenna's watchful gaze, Emma finally felt the depths of her heart push her forward. Okay, she said, turning to face Jenna again, determination flickering in her eyes. Let us go back. But we need to talk. Really talk. Jenna's generous smile finally broke through, a flicker of hope igniting. And as they walked back, hand in hand, the echoes of the fair blended with the promise of a new beginning. But would their reunion be enough to mend the cracks of their past? The vibrant sounds of laughter and music filled the air as Emma led Jenna back toward the heart of the fair. It felt surreal, her past walking beside her. But there was a spark of hope igniting within her. They had so much to navigate, but in this moment the atmosphere buzzed with life. The Ferris wheel still twinkled like stars against the night, and the chatter of the townsfolk created a rich tapestry of connection. As they approached the crowd, Emma felt a rush of warmth at the sight of faces filled with joy. Families, friends, all joined in the spirit of togetherness. Just as she had hoped, Maplewood was alive, breathing in harmony. The weight of her past hung behind her, but she now understood that reconciliation did not mean forgetting. It meant moving forward together. Hey, are you ready for this? Jenna's tentative voice cut through Emma's thoughts, pulling her back to the present. Yeah, Emma replied, feeling her heart skip a beat. They had a long road ahead, but first, they had this night, a celebration of hope and community. They joined the gathering crowd, weaving through revelers and booths. Emma spotted Ruth promoting the bake sale, her face radiant as she interacted with eager customers. Nearby, Dave was sharing stories, his laughter echoing. Encouraged, Emma felt the familiar pulse of their town's spirit wrap around her like a warm quilt. Look, she said to Jenna, pointing toward the booth packed with people. That's where my heart is. We've built something beautiful here. Jenna nodded, her gaze softening. It's incredible. I can see how much they care about you. Emma took a deep breath. And how much I need them to care. But it was hard losing you, Jenna. I always held a space for our friendship, even when I couldn't understand why you left. The words were a bomb and a challenge. Jenna faced her, gaining courage in Emma's honesty. I know I caused you pain. I'm so sorry for the hurt. Emma felt her heart stir between the pleasant noise and the honesty of the moment. She realized she was willing to create new memories, to allow healing to flow once more. Let us help out, Emma suggested. pointing to a group organizing the final booth. "We can be part of what makes this place special." "Together," Jenna replied, her eyes gleaming. They approached the group working on a craft stall, laughter spilling into the air as everyone collaborated. Emma caught the eyes of familiar faces who glanced at her, surprised at her reappearance with Jenna. But there was no doubt in their expressions anymore. Support and warmth enveloped them as they joined the circle. With each smile, every shared task, Emma felt as if she were rebuilding more than just their connection. She was stitching together a tapestry of community, infused with love, forgiveness, and a glimpse of tomorrow. "Can you believe the turnout?" Lucas chimed, approaching with Ruth, both of them brimming with excitement. "This has been a game changer." Emma smiled through teary eyes. "It's been incredible. People are coming together like never before." "Oh, you Emma," Dave insisted, tossing an arm over her shoulder. "You've reignited the spirit here." As Emma stood there surrounded by her acquaintances turned friends, Jenna at her side, a sentence twisted in her heart. They were family. A family forged through struggle and love. With the evening winding down, Emma grabbed Jay's hand, holding it tight. "Let us take this spirit forward. We can set up more gatherings, more ways to connect, not just today. And we can help each other," Jenna added, voice steady with determination. "I want to be a part of it all. I miss this." And as the stars blinked alive, shimmering above Maplewood, Emma felt the weight of the past dissolve into the freshness of hope. The fair had become more than an event. It was a milestone, a celebration of resilience and the undeniable power of community. With a shared promise to keep rekindling their connections and a remembrance of what mattered, Emma knew they could face any storm together. As investors made their rounds, Emma caught sight of them watching the spirit of the town thrive. Instead of anxiety, a profound sense of knowing washed over her. This was not just about investments. It was about a promise for a future nurtured by roots of trust, love, and rebirth. And so day after day Maplewood evolved, each moment stitched with stories blanketed in love, laughter, and reunions. Only moments away from heartbreak were glimmers of hope, healing hearts that found their way back to family. Was it the end of a chapter, or the beginning of a new story? Emma didn't have the answer, but for the first time it didn't matter. The journey was better when shared. And together, they would embrace everything to come. Don't wait another second. You need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Hit that like button right away to boost this channel and feed the algorithm. We want to hear your thoughts. Comment below with your reactions to this beautiful ending. And please, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Show your support for our community right now.